Hello and welcome to the podcast PFI Talks, which is brought to you by Prague Finance Institute and the leading Czech economics research center Conseq EI. It is my pleasure to welcome Lukáš Vácha, a board member of Conseq Investment Management and one of the leading asset manager and wealth manager in the Czech Republic. Welcome.
Good morning.
What was the defining moment when you realized at the start of the pandemic this year that things may not going to be the same way they used to be?
I remember I was driving in my car for work, and I heard in the radio that US closed borders for EU citizens. Mm-hmm. And that was the most crucial moment, and then the first sign that something is going to happen. Because to me personally, freedom of movement is one of the most significant signs of democracy and of our way of living. And since then, I also think that the curing the pandemic is maybe more dangerous for us than the pandemic itself.
Mm-hmm. So the cure for the pandemic is actually counterproductive in your view?
Yes, exactly. Not counterproductive. The pandemic is here, and we have to deal with that. So that's a fact. But we have to think about it very carefully because the media scene is very, very powerful, and if anybody important says something, then a lot of people hear that, hundreds of millions of people hear that, and it can have a lot of significant and dangerous causes, and that's why I think the hysteria which was made by the politicians and also by the media is quite counterproductive, and it can generate many risks for the future.
Some people think that changes brought by the COVID-19 pandemic are going to be profound and are going to stay. What do you think? Do you agree that we're going to have to get used to some new normal, or things will finally go back to what they used to be?
I hope there will be no new normal, especially concerning the pandemics. I think we can go back in the history. 100 years ago, there was epidemics of Spanish flu, and right now we can see very interesting pictures of soldiers and nurses in face masks, but that's all. And as far as I know, that the way of living of the people 100 years ago was not much affected, but this pandemics, and that's why I'm quite optimistic that it won't have a big impact also, and at this moment. I think our very good advantage for that is that we live in very quick times when one news come after another, and we consume this news, and tomorrow there will be another new news, and we will have another problems than the pandemics.
So what is the most important lesson that the pandemic has taught you in terms of your own approach to your own life and business?
We have to remember that the business and the economics of today is very much based on trust, and there is no physical anchor for the economy as the gold, for example, golden standard used to be 50 years ago, and we have to deal with the trust, and we have to not undermine it very much, because as long as the trust is present, the system can has a good function. But as soon as we lose the trust, then it could break down. So we have to be aware of this fact and deal with that.
Governments all over the world have spent a lot of taxpayers' money to prop up the pandemic-stricken economies. How is this fiscal expansion, which is accompanied by monetary expansion, because central banks are, to use a simplistic terminology, are printing a lot of money all over the world. How is this going to affect the world of investing going forward?
It's a basic economical rule that if you have one asset which is no more scarce as the money is in present times, then its price measured by price in another assets will decline. So that's the problem of today. We see quite significant inflation right now. Not the consumer or producers inflation, but the inflation of asset prices, and that's a direct product of the monetary expansion we experience. We have been experiencing for the last couple of years. Since the financial crisis, with only small breaks, and now the monetary expansion meanwhile was getting much more bigger than it used to be in 2010. So I think this. The monetary expansion can produce or is a good ground for producing bubbles on in terms of asset prices on the market. And I am pretty sure that also the consumer inflation is also going to come, and we see there some signs of that in recent months.
This is Lukáš Vácha, a board member of Conseq Investment Management. Thank you for accepting our invitation and taking part in this podcast.
Thank you very much for the invitation.